Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. In this video we're going to build a Boeing 777-300ER in the Air New Zealand livery. So first what we're going to do is we're going to cut out the fuselage. So it's important that we have markings on the side, so we're going to get a marking and it's going to look a bit like this. And we're also going to have them on the side so we can attach the nose and the tail easier. This will help you in future, so yeah. Then we're going to cut it out. Make sure you take your time with these cuts as these are very important. Now make sure on the bottom that you don't build an attachment, we've already got one on the top. Right, now we've cut the fuselage, I'm just going to take it out. You don't have to use a craft knife, it just tends to be a lot easier. Now what we're going to do is we're going to fold that one at the bottom. Make sure you, so also it's important later, so we're going to attach the nose and the tail, and if the fuselage is too big it's really hard to fit it on. So what you want to do is you're going to fold it, have a little bit of the black showing. This just means that the fuselage is a little smaller than it should be and allows the nose and tail to fit on easier. Then practice putting it together and then you can glue it. Or also you can roll it up to give it like more of a shape. Make sure you don't use too much glue. As you can see here, I'm spreading it out across, that way we don't have big lumps of it. And put it together. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut the tail out. Make sure you also leave a gap like you did with the fuselage, that way we can fold it together. And then basically just don't cut it out fully, leave one side at the end, and then cut out the middle bits for where we'll attach the vertical stabilizer and the horizontal stabilizers. make sure you're accurate with these cuts, as it will make it easier to put the horizontal and vertical stabilizer in later. Now cut the whole thing out and click it up. Now that we've finished cutting it out, what we're going to do is we're going to fold the bit of the tail for the connection pad. Now the fuselage should be finished drying, so we can make it more round, as we made it more flat earlier. Just give it its shape, basically. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold the tail. So what you can do is make sure that that bit's folded well. Make sure there's no black in it now, or else that will make it it will make it smaller, harder to attach. As you can see here, and you're going to fold it. And then since we put glue in that area, it's somewhat to keep it like not flat, but just a little gap in the middle. And it shouldn't like, the glue should spread anywhere since it's just on that little bit. But we haven't put too much on. Now we're going to cut out the tail. So yeah, there's nothing really special about this. You're just cutting out the tail. Alright, now we've cut out the tail. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half and make sure it's on that line. And also you're going to put glue on just the outside, not the inside. Then fold it in half. Now that we've folded the tail in half. I've messed up slightly here, so I'm just gonna do a quick readjustment to make it more accurate. So now I've finished folding the tail. Cutting up the tail. Now the the end should be ready, so we're just going to get it round into a shape, just like we did with the fuselage, basically. I did have a little bit of difficulty here, but if you do it right, you shouldn't have any problem. Alright, now that we've finished sorting that out. Oh, sorry. So if you've done it right, there should be a little hole at the back. It's fine if there's white on the bottom. Towards the end, we're gonna just like get some black marker and just color that in. So now what you can do is just practice putting it on to the plane, so that you're ready for the actual fold. Because once you've put you can try it out. But yeah, practice that. So once you don't put the glue on when you touch it, or else that will be hard to take off. Now we're gonna cut the horizontal stabilizers. Pretty similar to the tail. There's nothing really complicated to explain. And now that we we finish cutting out both of them, yeah, we are ready to do the same as we did with the tail, within putting glue on the outside and folding them in half. And now we're going to do the same with the other horizontal stabilizer. If you're curious what glue I'm using Aleene's original tacky glue, all-purpose, clear. And now that we've cut that out, we're gonna just see if the tail fits. If it doesn't, just trim a little bit off of that connector. It's unlikely that you'll get it first try. Well, you might, but yeah. And then just double check to make sure that fits. And then you can get some glue and you can glue it on. Make sure you put glue at the back though, that way the back sticks too. Unless, of course, you're gonna have move your rudder, but trust me, you're not really gonna be doing that. Now make sure that your tail is aligned right. It's fine if it's a wee bit misshaped. What we can do later is put some weight on it to put the tail flat. Now I'm just gonna make it a little bit easier to attach onto the fuselage by cutting this bit off. You don't have to do this if yours already fits. Mine's a little bit tight. Now I'm just gonna practice putting it on. Looks like it fits. So now we're going to glue on the horizontal stabilizer, so we're just going to put some glue in there, then we can attach them. Also, you can put a bit of glue in the front to make sure that bit's attached. It's fine if they droop down a little bit, as we can adjust them later once they're dry. Now what we're going to do is we're going to attach it to the other side. Make sure that these fit also before you glue them. So now I'm just going to give this 30 seconds. You can count out loud if you want, of just holding it straight. That way these can self-support themselves. And then once it's done, you can just put it up against something like I have. I've just put it resting on the glue. Now what we're gonna do after we wait for that to dry is we're gonna cut out the nose. So on one side we're gonna have all our attachments, and I've chosen it to be this side. And make sure you cut a little triangle in the middle there, so that you can attach. Now you want to cut lots of little grooves inside of that attachment points so that they can bend a lot easier. Now I've cut the first one out, I'm going to cut the second one out. Make sure this one has a triangle, but don't have the glue attachment pads like we did on the last one. Now the tail is ready in the time that we've been cutting that to attach. So first do final practice of putting it on. And then once you know it's ready to go, you can glue it on. Make sure that you do this well, or else it can make your build look really weird. I wasn't able to align it perfectly, so I've left space at the bottom as there's a pattern at the top, and it will look a lot more noticeable with the pattern, and I can just colour that white bit in the bottom in black. Now that's ready, I'm going to rest it up again like I had it before, and now we're going to assemble the nose. Now, to assemble the nose, we are going to attach these two pads. Well, we're going to first put some weight in the fuselage. That way, if we do attach landing gear, it won't be tail heavy and just rest on the back of it. This is what, in order that it stays forward, it stays rested on its front gear. And yeah, just put a little. What I put is blue tack in there, but you can put whatever you want to lay it down, just as long as it stays stationary and doesn't move about. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to glue that triangle onto the. We're going to glue that triangle onto the front part. Just put a tiny bit of glue there. And then fold. Then that will give your plane a little bit of a curved shape. Make sure that you rest this for a while to give it that shape, and then do the same on the upper side. Well, yeah. Now, once you have soldered all of those attachment bits down, you can glue them. And do the same with the other side and make sure that triangle is secure, and then you can lift them back up or something. Then put glue on it. I'm going to start with the bottom bit. So I'm putting glue on the bottom. And then you're going to attach the two halves. Now that we've picked them on both sides, we can attach them both together. Just keep rounding it out and making sure that your nose is really good. Because a nose can make a plane look really good or really bad. So it can make or break it. So just take time with it. And once you've finished, it should look a little bit like this. I'm just gonna have a look inside and see if any of those connector bits are falling off, and if they are, just put them down with something small. Now, whilst we wait for that to dry, we're going to cut out the wing box. So to start off, we're going to cut out those holes. Those holes are used to attach the wing more strongly to the plane. Make sure you take your time with these cuts. Then you can cut out the rest of the wing box. Make sure you don't forget that little white bit in the middle. Now that we've cut the whole thing out, we can take it out. And that's what the wing box should look like. You might do it very differently from different planes. So now that the nose is fully dry, we can practice trying to put it on the plane. Right here, mine wasn't fitting quite so perfectly, so I had to make a few minor adjustments to the attachment pads and how far back the blue tack was. It is important though, if it really does not fit at all, you can just attach them like you saw with that Iceland airplane on the inside. It doesn't look nearly as good, but that's like a last resort. So that means pushing back the blue tack. really important that you take your time when attaching the nose, as you can get really bad results if you mess it up. There was one plane when I messed it up on a Singapore Airlines one. I'll show you what that looks like right now. Just give me a sec, I'm just getting the Singapore Airlines plane. Another compromise I did make was cutting the top of the glue pad off to also make it easier to attach. But in theory, if you do it perfectly, it should all attach perfectly, but not everything's perfect. Now I've finished testing it and I know that the nose can attach right. I'm gonna put some glue on. Make sure you get your nose perfectly in place so that that text doesn't look funky. And as you can see, I've finished attaching the nose. Now, you don't need to do this at all. This is a very optional step. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the sides to make it a little bit more seamless, the connection. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But since the glue dries clear, it doesn't really matter. Now after we wait for that to dry, we're going to form the wing box. First, what you want to do is fold the two sides. now that I've folded those two sides, what we're going to do when we glue them is we're going to connect those two bits in the middle. Do a few practices of putting this on. What it should be is at the end of the little box, should be just covering that white line that the plane has as a guide. Then you're going to put some glue there to start. We will put more glue throughout for the rest of the wing box. Then you're going to attach it onto the two sides. So now keep working on that fold or attachment. Now what we're going to do is we're going to attach those main bits of the wing box there and there. Now an example of the wing box is on this plane. That's a pretty old model, so it's not that great of a model, so don't judge me. The majority of the models I'll show here are old, because my newest ones I've either given away or are somewhere else. So you're going to want to apply the glue a bit like this with smudge there so you can attach a smudge in the middle. And when we do that, we're going to, you want to make sure that the wing box, that fin bit, you keep safe or else it will look like that, how I showed you. It will break and it won't look very good. So yeah, now we're going to do. This is an example of a plane that I didn't really keep my hands clean throughout it. The tons of glue is piling up throughout it, and that's an example of one that's a lot cleaner and nicer. Sorry about the frames here, I'm not quite sure what happened to the quality towards the end of the video. Hope you ignore that. Speaking about the video, this one took a while to make, so I'd really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. I know I don't ask for that very often, but that would help me a lot, as I've made it's gotta be like twice as more videos as I have subscribers. I have 12 subscribers. I think I'm at like 30 videos. So here's an example of that Singapore Airlines plane I was talking about earlier. That basically the side of it, when I was attaching the nose, wasn't done very well, so there's a big dent in the side. That's why you need to take your time attaching stuff like that. Yes, you can see there's a big dent inside of that. So just make sure you take some loose stuff. I still finished that plane though for some reason, and then gave it to someone because I didn't really care too much about it. So now we're going, so as you can see now we're attaching those two bits on the side. I'm just gonna hold it together for a bit, get everything attached properly. So now I will give it a little bit for that to dry. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do some finishing touches. So as you can see, those big white bits are on the back there. On the bottom of the plane. What we're going to do is I was going to use a black marker, but I couldn't find any, so I decided to go with paint. You don't need to use paint though, just like anything that can colour in black, really. But yeah, otherwise I would have gone with marker compared to paint, because it tends to be a little bit easier to use. Make sure you take your time with this, as if you mess up, you could accidentally hit one of part of the plane, and that could ruin that bit of it. And then I'm just gonna do the same with all the white bits on the bottom of the plane. And any white bits that aren't meant to be there that I can find. And that is us nearing completion of the fuselage. I just want to say a huge thanks for watching this all the way to the end. And yeah, what we're going to, this is part 1 of the video. I've just made a fuselage. In the next one, we're going to do the wings, engines, maybe the landing gear. I don't know yet. But yeah, thanks for watching, and goodbye.